What autopsy results show about people who live past 100? When centenarians die and autopsies are performed, pathologists consistently find something unexpected. Not the pristine biology of someone who never got sick. Evidence of diseases they never knew they had. The centenarian paradox. This is called the centenarian paradox. People who live to 100 and beyond don't typically have spotless biology. Many of them have the same diseases that kill people decades younger. Atherosclerosis, small cancers, kidney dysfunction, signs of Alzheimer's pathology. What they have is different from the people who die at 70 with similar pathology. Their bodies coexisted with these conditions for decades without dying from them. The question researchers have been trying to answer isn't what did centenarians avoid, it's what protected them from what they couldn't avoid. What the data shows. The New England Centenarian Study, the largest and longest-running study of people who live to 100 based at Boston University, has collected biological samples, family histories, and health records from over 1,700 centenarians since 1995. Several findings consistently emerge. First, centenarians don't avoid disease. They compress it. The concept is called morbidity compression. Instead of spending 20 to 30 years in gradual functional decline, centenarians tend to maintain relatively high function until very late, often within the last 2 to 3 years of life, and then decline rapidly. They get sick later and die faster. In the New England study, roughly 43% of centenarians were classified as survivors. They had age-related diseases diagnosed before 80, but lived past 100 anyway. Another 42% were delayers. They didn't develop major age-related diseases until after 80. Only 15% were escapers. They reached 100 with no diagnosable age-related disease at all. This matters because it means the centenarian superpower is not disease avoidance. It's disease tolerance and delayed onset. The biological factors. Autopsy data and genetic studies of centenarians point to several recurring biological patterns. The first is inflammation control. Chronic low-grade inflammation, sometimes called inflammaging, is now considered one of the primary drivers of age-related disease progression. Centenarians consistently show lower markers of chronic inflammation than age-matched controls who died earlier. Their immune systems appear better at mounting acute responses, fighting infections when needed, while avoiding the chronic smoldering inflammation that damages tissues over decades. The second is mitochondrial resilience. Mitochondria are the energy-producing organelles in every cell. They also produce reactive oxygen species, unstable molecules that damage cellular components. Centenarians show better mitochondrial efficiency and lower oxidative stress markers than non-centenarian peers. The third is genetics, but not the way most people think. Centenarians are more likely than the general population to have specific variants in genes related to inflammation regulation, lipid metabolism, and DNA repair. The APOE gene, specifically the E2 variant, appears significantly more often in centenarians and is associated with lower Alzheimer's risk. The E4 variant, which dramatically increases Alzheimer's risk, appears at lower frequencies. But genetics alone don't explain it. Many people with the right genes don't reach 100. Many without them do. What their lives looked like. Beyond the biology, autopsy data is cross-referenced with life history data in the major centenarian studies. Certain patterns repeat. Centenarians reported low levels of chronic psychological stress, or more precisely, better regulation of the stress response. Not stress-free lives. Lives with less physiological reactivity to stress. They slept consistently. The data here is striking. Poor sleep in midlife is one of the strongest predictors of accelerated biological aging in long-term studies. They maintain social connection. Isolation, chronic loneliness, is now documented as having mortality effects comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes per day. Centenarians across cultures showed high levels of social integration throughout their lives. And they moved. Not marathons, not gym culture. Consistent low-intensity physical activity embedded in daily life, walking, gardening, manual household tasks, appears again and again. The real finding. What autopsies of centenarians reveal is not a blueprint for a perfect body. It's a blueprint for a resilient one. A body that absorbed damage, tolerated dysfunction, and kept its core systems operational longer. Not because it was untouched by disease, but because its maintenance systems ran efficiently for longer. The lesson isn't do these 5 things and live to 100. The lesson is more specific than that. The people who lived the longest weren't the healthiest at 30. They were the most resilient at 80. And resilience isn't built at 80. It's built across decades. In the sleep you kept consistent, the inflammation you didn't feed, the relationships you didn't let dissolve. The autopsies don't lie. They just tell you things nobody mentioned when it was still early enough to matter.